Close to 200 people, including women and children, have been left homeless as the country enters the lockdown extension aimed to curb the spread of COVID-19. For more on this story, we cross live now to our reporter on the ground, Athi Mtongana. She comes to us live from Cape Town. A very good afternoon to you, Athi. I see behind you there police there with their nyalas armed. What has transpired during the course of the day?
Yes, Tammy, as you can see, scores of police behind me. There's been running battles between residents here in Nkanini with the police, who of course have been deployed to try and restore some kind of order following, of course, the demolition of structures that were erected by residents here in Nkanini. I'm going to ask my colleague to pan and show you the number of residents who have gathered now with their community leaders who have just arrived to try and restore some kind of calm. Like I said, following those running battles between the residents and the police. Now, because of time, the Human Rights Commission wants to leave. I'm just going to ask my colleague to pan around again and come back closer to me as we try to speak to the Human Rights Commission and perhaps tell us about, what has transpired, what kind of rights have been infringed upon. We're speaking about the Riotous Act. Can you just elaborate on what has been happening since the police arrived and started firing rubber bullets and tear gas at the residents?
My name is Khayelitsha. I'm the acting provincial manager of the Human Rights Commission. And my colleague Abdul Karim Jacobs is one of our senior legal consultants. We've been on the scene since early this morning, based on media reports that there was evictions taking place during the COVID season, and also, that there was allegations of abuse and assault by police officials. So what has happened, when we came here early on, we had a meeting with community leaders and residents to take individual statements. And while the crowd was standing with us, law enforcement officials just arrived and started to shoot at the crowd with no reason whatsoever. At that time, the crowd was merely cheering, and giving the commission their statements. None of the officials had on name tags. We, as the commission, then request from them why they've arrested, because they've arrested 3 people, and why they were shooting on the people with, we were in the midst of all the shooting. They refused to identify them to the commission and just told us, it's not a meeting, and they don't have to give the commission any information.
On what grounds are police here for?
What has happened since, after law enforcement has to start, with the shooting, the crowd started to get really agitated, and started to throw stones, and they also started to burn tires. What has happened then, law enforcement has then moved out, and we saw the police has arrived, basically the same time that you have arrived, so we don't know on what basis the police was called.
All right, thank you so much. Because of time, I have to leave it there for now, the Human Rights Commission. Now, let me continue giving you a scene, Tammy, and a picture of what is happening right now, because there are more police that have been deployed to the area, and you can see the number of residents out here. There were asked by police to go back home. As you may know, during the lockdown, South Africans have been urged to stay at home. And when the police were actually speaking to the residents earlier on a loudhailer, they were pleading with those who are not involved in this particular eviction situation to go back home. But I see now they're getting more agitated. We're literally in the middle of this battle between the police as well as the residents. I'm going to ask my colleague if he can just pan and show you where the police are standing and how they've formed a human chain, of course, trying to barricade that particular street, preventing them from going any further, because that is where residents across the police have been trying to burn tires as well as trying to blockade the roads. More police have been deployed. We're seeing more police officers now starting to arrive. They've been firing rubber bullets at tear gas at residents who have been trying to prevent the city of Cape Town's anti-land invasion unit from demolishing the shacks that were rebuilt. Remember, these residents claim to us that they have been occupying the city-owned land for close to a month. However, when we spoke to the maker member of Human Settlements, Malusi Boy, earlier on this morning, he told us that they have a court order and they are well within their right to come and demolish all the structures that have been illegally built on their piece of land. However, residents have been adamant that they're not going anywhere and that they're going to continue to live on this piece of land. In fact, they have been rebuilding those structures that have been put down by the police, and because of the anti-land invasion unit returning again to demolish those structures, we've seen once again the running battles flaring up between the police and the residents. Tammy.
I know it's still very early days regarding this, Athi, and yes, the city of Cape Town may have a court order which is valid, but we can all acknowledge and appreciate that these are uncommon times, that there have been regulations that have been put together in place because of COVID-19 that would pretty much, prevent court orders of this nature from being acted upon. You'll know that even landlords are not allowed to evict the people who are occupying their properties at this particular time. Have you heard anything from National regarding this?
Not at all, not at this stage. Tammy, the Legal Resource Centre has filed an urgent court application at the Western Cape High Court. In fact, they were saying that they're waiting to hear from Western Cape Judge John Hlophe to respond to them. Of course, they're particularly dealing with this matter as an urgent matter, bearing in mind exactly what you've just alluded to, the fact that right now South Africa has a lockdown in place, an extension even of the lockdown, and the residents were saying to us they have nowhere else to go. Well, overnight they had spent the night at a nearby church and a nearby hall, saying they have nowhere else to go. There are calls for residents in the entire country to stay at home. However, these residents say they have nowhere else to go. I see some of the community leaders who've just engaged with the residents are returning back. Let's hear from them and hear what they have concluded with the residents. So, Andile, I have to stop you before you get to the police. What have you concluded with the residents? Is there going to be peace? What have you said to the residents and what have they said to you?
No, what the residents are saying is that their shacks were taken away, and as we speak now they don't have anywhere to sleep. Yeah. So what we are asking from them is to calm down. We speak to the police and also ask the city of Cape Town to make to make sure that at least they bring back those shacks that they took them away. At least by now there shouldn't be such chaos, in particular at this point in time.
Yeah, but have you heard anything from national government? You are an ANC representative.
Yes, we've spoken, because I'm from the human settlement now. We've spoken from some officials in the human settlement. They are coming here. They are on their way here now. We are going to meet with them in making sure that at least these people have got a place to sleep tonight.
But what about the police? There seems to be ongoing running battles with them. What are you going to say to them?
Because we decided we'll start with them to say they must stop throwing stones with the police. Also, the police must stop shooting at them, so that there is at least there is calm. Because remember, there are a lot of kids here around. So if they continue to throw stones and the police continue to shoot at them, then definitely so many will be injured. As I've seen now already, there are people who are already injured through rubber bullets and so forth.
All right, thank you very much. Andile Lili from the ANC in the province, saying that he's tried to speak to the residents to try and restore some kind of calm, because residents have really been agitated. As you may know, there are fears of COVID-19 spreading in Khayelitsha. We know that there are already 12 positive cases in Khayelitsha. And, COVID-19 is but one of many challenges that these residents have. Of course, right now, the main challenge that is before them is the fact that they have nowhere else to go. Their shacks have been demolished, and the leaders are right now trying to mediate with the police to try and restore some kind of calm. We believe that there are some people that have been arrested, and some people have also been injured as a result of police firing rubber bullets and stun grenades, as well as tear gas, and of course with residents pelting rocks at their direction.
I see, Athi, that this is obviously a developing situation right now, and it looks like a wait and see, as calls to various departments are being made and decisions are being made as to what to do and how to move forward. And looking at the time now, it's going to be sunset very shortly. And the big question is, what will then happen to those residents? Will they be going back to the church once again? Because realistically speaking, it does not look like there will be any sort of erection of any structures at this point.
for sure, Tammy. In fact, overnight, they spent the night at a nearby church and a nearby hall. I'm going to ask my colleague to walk with me. I just want to go and check out the residents. Some of them, of course, saying that they were injured following the battles between the police and the residents. So, of course, there won't be a quick response from government at this point. But, of course, leaders are trying to say to the police that they should at least stop firing rubber bullets as well as tear gas at the residents, and they've also tried to get the residents to calm down a bit. So it's going to take a while for officials to be able to try and restore some kind of calm here. But of course, residents have been adamant that they will continue to build, that they will continue to occupy this piece of land. Is there anyone who was injured? Is there anyone who was injured? Anyone who was injured during the clashes between police? Is there anyone that was injured? Is there anyone that was injured?
There is. You can call him. He's here inside. Call that person.
But following what your leaders were saying, are you saying that you are not going to pelt rocks at the direction of the police? What do you want right now at this point in time? As you're seeing police are here, what is it that you want to be done right now?
We want our workers back. Here, we want our houses, everything, our groceries, everything here.
And we want to live here.
You see this? Come here. This guy he only has his clothes, only doesn't have even have shoes. As you can see, everything. Because some people they take here, other people they take advantages, they steal. While those people they taking our workers away.
All right, thank you very much. That resident, of course, talking to us about their plight and showing us a young boy here who they claim has no clothes because of the fact that when the anti-land invasion unit moved in, most of their belongings were taken. We're talking about their furniture as well as their clothing, as was alluded by the resident that we just spoke to now. So, Tammy, it will have to take the urgency of national government, provincial government, and particularly the city of Cape Town to make sure that they get to some kind of resolve to try and ease the tensions of residents right now in Nkanini, in Khayelitsha.
Thank you very